Okay guys, we've got a bunch of products here at First Man. We've got our men's lifestyle supplement, which is everything that a man needs on a daily basis. We've got our natural diuretic supplement, Defined, which allows you to get an angular face, removes all the water, especially good for summer. We've got our Male Advantage book, which is a paperback. You can order this, or you can get this in audiobook format or ebook format. We've got our Better Looking Man course, which I'll bring up pictures on screen now. And we've got my personal diet plan and fitness plan in ebook format. On top of this, guys, we've got a body wash coming out soon, part of the testosterone friendly range. We've got men's boxers and a whole clothing line coming out soon. A whole bunch of products, but for now, let's get back to the video that you actually wanted to watch. Okay guys, welcome back to another video. In this video I want to talk about kids being diagnosed with anxiety. Now, I find this mental and quite alarming as well. I know somebody is in a professional field and they've said to me, we've got so many kids being brought in by parents and the parents are like, my kid's just not confident, has anxiety, is scared of life, doesn't want to do this. We got him to talk in front of the class the other day and he was nervous. I'm sorry, is that a problem? Isn't that called life? Isn't that normal for a child to do? And I'm finding that strange that and this isn't about kids, this is about you lot, okay? And this is being bridged into teen and adult life, where a lot of guys are like, I'm 18 and I'm not successful, I'm not perfect. I don't think people understand that life is a skill. Life is a skill, okay? It doesn't mean you shouldn't push yourself, doesn't mean you shouldn't find, uncomfortable scenarios so that you can grow. You should do all of that. But to be like, oh, my kid's 9 years old and he won't do a speech in front of the school. Of course he fucking won't. I would have pissed my pants at that age to do a speech in front of the school. I might have been okay, but, most people would be nervous as fuck. Approach a girl at 21 years old. You might be a little bit like, oh, I don't know about that one. At 27, you'll be like, nah, I got this. This is easy. I'm confident in myself. I know what to do. Life is a skill. This gets forgotten. This never gets spoken about. Like how... people always say oh, sports is a skill and just coding and stuff like that. But people don't understand that life in general is a skill. Just becoming good at life. Just gaining experience. And I think this fucks a lot of guys up by way of patience. I'm 21, my life's not perfect. I'm scared of talking to women. It's like, you should be. You're 21. You've got no reason to be proud of yourself. You're a skinny little 21-year-old with no money, a shit job. You're not even in shape and you've still got spots. What, and you expect to strut down the street like Conor McGregor? Not even Conor McGregor used to strut down the street like Conor McGregor when he had spots, no tattoos, didn't have the money, looked awful. His accent was 10 times stronger. He changed. His voice was higher. He changed completely. This is one thing that a lot of men have to remember, is you are building your character, your hypermasculine character. You are building your way towards manhood. I meet girls now, heart doesn't skip a beat. I'm just like, hey, how are you? You okay? Just straight over, give them a hug, give them a kiss, be like, here's what we're doing today. No fear at all. Whereas when I was 21, I'd be like, hey, you okay? Sweaty palms, you'd be panicking a little bit, I hope she likes me. Oh my God, she's so hot. It's just different. You just grow with time, okay? And you just get better at mastering things. There's things that used to take me way off my game when I was younger. This has gone wrong. Fuck, oh no, the world's over. Everything's going to go wrong. Whereas now something goes wrong and I'm like, okay, let's look at this properly. What has actually gone wrong? Has it happened yet? We've got this, okay. Well, let's come up with a strategy. Let's actually think about this because I've got better at life. Being good at life is a skill. It's often forgotten for men. Everyone thinks there's just skills in sports or whatever. And, like I said, certain fucking technology skills or I'm not good at that. I tell you what nobody's good at is life. Very few people are good at life. For their whole life. But all of us are fucking shit at it when we start out. It's just nothing but mistakes. None of us are good. It takes years and years and years of doing certain things like I said, approaching women, getting good at job interviews, getting good at starting and succeeding in business, getting good at lifting weights, getting good at coming up with plans and strategies and having a daily routine and figuring out what works for you. Some of this stuff takes people fucking 40 years. You'll find guys that are like, hey, I got to my 40s and I finally hit my stride and things started to come together. You guys don't want to hear that. And that's not what I want for you guys. I want you guys to get it a little bit earlier than that. But if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. Because that is what life is. Life is just a learning experience along the way. And nobody dies perfect, you know, but you definitely die with more. Obviously, there's going to be illnesses and whatever, and some people lose their brain. But, you know, let's say you get to like 50, 50-year-old you is going to be 10 times more accomplished than fucking 15-year-old you. And he's going to know how to do 1,000,001 more things. He's going to know how to pay certain bills, how to handle stress, how to handle losses in life, how to, do you know what I mean? You've experienced a lot by that point, and you've changed, you've evolved. So my message to you is, instead of getting caught up in this whole culture of, oh, I'm 19 and I've got anxiety, you don't have anxiety, you're just young. You don't have depression, you're just early on in life, like I was. You're just some 19-year-old bum. I was a 19-year-old bum. I felt like shit about myself too. My life's going nowhere, you're 19. Okay? I'm 30 years old, I've just done the biggest stickle twist investment of my life. And that's like fucking 11 years later than you at 19 years old. I'm still pushing, I'm still trying to figure this out. I'm still trying to do new things. It's still challenging. It takes time, guys. All this stuff takes time. I said to you before, patience is a superpower for men. You know, keep putting the work in, keep pushing, try and do it as early as possible, but understand it might be a 10, 15, 20-year journey. I heard Tristan, I love Tristan Tate. I think he's a very, very high level man. And I'm talking about up here. I think he's got it. He understands a lot of stuff. And he said something the other day. I saw a video where he was like, Tristan now is way better than Tristan was like 4 or 5 years ago. He was like, I love where I'm at now. He's like, that's the best version of me ever. He said, in 2-3 years' time, I'll be a better Tristan than I was back then. And he was like, and I love that. That's what you guys need to be thinking, is I won't always be like this. I'll keep growing. As long as you keep pushing and evolving and trying new things, whatever, and trying to become better. But you have to appreciate that. Now, it's not me giving you fucking excuses, okay? But it is kind of an excuse, guys. Let's be honest. To be 19 and be like, I'm scared of approaching women, it's kind of normal. Doesn't mean it should put you off from doing it, because that's the only way you're going to get better. You go into an interview at 19, you're shitting yourself. Of course you are, because you're broken, you need a fucking job. And you're like, I hope this guy hires me, otherwise I can't pay my fucking bills, and I want to take this girl on a date next week, and I've got 50 fucking pounds in my account. Nerves are going to come from scenarios like that. When you haven't done something before, you're going to be nervous. You know, when you bury a parent for the first time, you're going to be fucking nervous. Do you know, like, there's no roadmap for a lot of this shit. But over time, you build up a fucking memory bank of stuff. And you're like, I know how to handle this. Doesn't necessarily make it easier, you're just more experienced. Okay, you won't get as nervous when you meet women. You won't get as nervous in a job interview. You'll be able to do a speech. You might be on a Zoom conference call at work and somebody asks you to speak and you're like, 5 years later, you're like, guys, I'll host this meeting. I've got this. You're like, I'm the same person I was. What's the difference? It's in here. The feedback loop is just like, yeah, I got this now. I know how to do this. I've accomplished a few things. It's as I've told you guys before, points on the board. So stop sitting there and being like, I'm depressed, I'm anxious, I'm just one of those guys that can't do that sort of thing. I'm just one of those guys that's fearful. Stop telling yourself that shit. You're just young. You're just early into your journey. It is completely normal. Don't let society do this thing now where they're telling people, you're not good enough, you have a problem, you have a disability, it's called anxiety, it's called depression, it's a mental health illness. Don't buy into a lot of this shit, guys, okay? It's really annoying me, seeing like fucking 9-year-olds get diagnosed with anxiety. You're 9. I used to have a fucking twitch at 9. I used to do this fucking shit. I was nervous as fuck. I grew out of it because I was just like, what the fuck am I doing? Do you know what I mean? That's weird. But I had this thing where I had to keep looking at my toes and blinking at the same time. What was that? I don't even know what that was. I thought I was fucking special needs, but it's just something that I did. I had like a really big blinking problem. It was really strange. And people were like, he's kind of weird. I just don't do it anymore. It's just, obviously, I'm not walking down the street going like that, fucking jerking around the place, right? But it was something that I had when I was younger. I was nervous. I was petrified of loads of shit. I was anxious. It's just normal. You're young. It's normal. Okay? But over time, you will evolve, guys. These skills you will learn certain things. You will become more experienced. You will, go through things, come out the other side and be like, okay, I'm a better person. Like somebody said to me the other day, you don't learn in the good times, do you? You don't learn from the wins. I was like, not really. I was like, it's always when you've had a terrible year, you come out the other side and you're like, well, I fucking survived that, so I can survive anything. This year's going to be a great one. You just become harder, you become tougher, more experienced, you've seen more scenarios. That's life. Life is a skill. Life is a genuine skill. Like by just stuff happening to you, by just time passing, you just simply become better at day-to-day shit. You just simply become better at life. Something that at 18 people can't understand. Oh my God, it's gone wrong. My girlfriend's finished with me. Oh my God, everything's just collapsing. At 30, I'm like, you know, if I ended it with a girlfriend or whatever, I'd be like, look, I know from experience there's a billion fucking women in the world that, you know, I could have. There's at least fucking, 50 that I could message right now and just get sex tonight. So like, is it a real problem? I'd be like, no, not really. Loved her more than the other ones. Hey, I'm sure like I'll meet another one along the way. That's just life experience. Whereas an 18-year-old might be like, I'm going to commit suicide. She was the one for me. You'll just look at it differently because you've got that experience. You know, the same in business. Like, oh, you lose your job. I'm never going to find another job. I'm going to be broke forever. I'm going to be one of those people. Me now, like if I had a job and got fired from it, I'd be like, that's life. It's cycles. I'd be like, there's a recession coming. They're probably prepared for that, whatever. There'll be another job along the way. I'd be like, I'll do something temporarily, keep that cash coming in. Doesn't define me. I'll get another job eventually. You know, let's just stay active. It's just a different mindset. You become good at life. Okay, guys? Just please don't forget that. Being good at life is a skill. It's a separate skill. And the only way to become better at it is life experience, time, and going through shit. So you're not anxious, you're not depressed, you don't have fucking disabilities and whatever, and mental health conditions. And that holds me back because, I've got this issue where I can't talk to people. I've got social anxiety. I'm not good in large groups. Like, have you spent much time in large groups though? Oh, I'm terrible at public speaking. I fall apart. You're 21 years old and you've never done public speaking. You did it once in class. The teacher told you to read out loud and you shit yourself because you've done it once. If I did something once, I'd be like, fuck, I'm not very good at this. Do you know what I mean? It's just normal. Like the first video I ever made, I watched it back the other day. I was a weirdo. I was talking weird. I don't know what I was doing. I watched it and I was like, why am I doing that? I wasn't nervous at all. But I'm like, why was I talking weird? It's just, you get better at stuff over time. And life is a skill. You just get better at life. You just handle what humans have built. You just become a pillar of society and you just go, I can manage this. I know how this works. I can do this. Like, this is easy to me now. I've figured this life thing out, this humanity thing out. Please don't forget that, guys, because as men, life is a long game. And the things that you're worried about now, the things you're not good at now, your late 20s, 30s, whatever, you might be a fucking expert at them. You might be the best at them, okay? For a guy like me who was hopping along like this, doing all this fucking twitchy shit, to now be probably the calmest guy in any room, to be able to talk to any woman I want without any fear, to be able to do talks and stuff like this, and I'm like, what was all that about? Oh, it's because I was young. I didn't really know what was going on. It was a fucking twitch that I had as a kid. It's weird. Do you know what I mean? That's just life. And now I can come on and I can do the impression and I can fucking laugh about it. That's how, to the extent it's gone. Do you know what I mean, guys? So, I don't know. I find it weird. I find it very weird that society is just like, your kid is 9 years old and he's not perfect. And some of you guys are like, Chris, I'm 18, I'm scared to talk to women. So was I. It's fucking normal. You've put no points on the board yet. If I was in your situation, I might be scared to talk to women too. Do you know what I mean? But whereas when you've got the muscle, you've been through a lot of shit, you've been on a few dates, you've been through a few relationships, you're good in bed, your dick works because you stopped watching porn and masturbating years ago. You've got money in the bank, you can pay for this date. You've got a nice car that is completely, 100% workable, and you can pick her up and drop her off that night. You can have a good conversation with her parents if need be. You're not going to panic, are you? But at 18, you might be like, oh, I've never done that before. It's going to worry me. Or her dad's got a strong handshake. I wonder if I've got a strong handshake. You've been going to the gym for 5-6 years. You're going to be like, boom, boom, like squeeze it in. Do you know what I mean? That's life. Life is a skill. I'm going to leave you with that.